Okay, hello, welcome. So it's very nice to meet some. I can see some people I haven't met before, and quite a few of the people I know very well. And there's a few that I know too well, especially Kiran and with his hardworking look. Anyway, I just came back from a very nice week in Ukraine. We have a community just outside Kiev. So I go every 3 months there, and we have a small group, enthusiastic group. And I enjoy very much working with people who have a different conditioning. So people who were brought up in the Soviet system, or their parents were brought up in the Soviet system, have a very, very different conditioning than we have in Western Europe. So I find that always quite interesting. And at the moment we've been expanding the available rooms there, just building 6 new rooms. It's a very beautiful retreat center. And this weekend they have our biggest ever retreat with 52 people coming to do ayahuasca retreat. Some shaman ladies from South America, Peru, I think, are there this weekend. And also last weekend, at the end of the weekend I did with the guys there, we had an art opening. So we have a very nice exhibition of watercolors from an interesting architect, Catherine, who I think we had about 30 small watercolors. Very nice feminine feeling about them. Okay. So let's start with the meditation. So let's just sit quietly for a few minutes together. We close our eyes and I will give you some direction. So as you look inside, see what's happening and bring your attention to whatever is the strongest thing that's happening. So there may be some thoughts, some feelings, body sensation. It may just be empty with some local sounds. There may be even a deep silence. So just bring your attention to whatever is the strongest thing that's happening. Okay, so let's come back into the computer screen, come back into the room, open our eyes. So maybe you can put me on the screen.
I guess you're on the screen for everybody.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we have quite a lot of people today, so I thought we might start with a few sharings. Maybe the meditation brought up something you'd like to share. Victoria, you're always having an interesting observation. Would you like to start? You've got a very good light today, Victoria. You look like an angel, dismembered angel.
Oh, thank you. I don't feel like an angel today. Do you hear me?
Yes, yes, yes.
Mm-hmm. If you allow me to put in another question, because I saw a film last days in the TV, and it the theme was if is somebody allowed to give a man who lost his wife and is in deep sorrow, a pill to make suicide. Did you see that film named God?
No, I didn't see that. No, I don't.
see.
I don't watch much television.
I see. Yeah, because it's a very big theme, and I just wanted to ask your opinion about that. What you would think if a man is a human being is allowed to end his life on his own. You see?
Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you know, I have a particular, how can I say? I have a particular judgment about relationships between men and women. Yeah.
I see.
So if everybody who got left by their wife or their husband and felt very upset and lonely and all that stuff that happens, will all start to kill themselves, and we'd have dead bodies everywhere, I think. So I don't find you know, losing your wife or husband or such things is not really a reason to kill yourself. You know, that's perhaps, if you feel like killing yourself, which maybe many people do, that would perhaps be the time to go and get some kind of help, you know, some psychological help.
Yeah.
But so I mean, I'm not really, I don't find that really a good idea. But when people have a particularly horrible, very painful disease, for example, and there's not much chance, if any chance, of it getting any better, or if somebody, you know, has something similar to that, when their life in a way, as you could say, intolerable, and they're making a very clear kind of conscious decision, not with, you know, psychological issues, but they're just clear that that's what they want to do, then I think already you can go to certain places. One of them is in Switzerland, I think. Yeah. And they have a professional setup, and you take some, you take something to drink. I think you drink something, and then
I heard
about pass away. And I've seen a film where, you know, a husband and wife went together there, and the husband or the wife, I don't remember, did that. So I find that perfectly acceptable and perfectly something that probably every country should move towards allowing. Yeah. But the idea that broken-hearted people out of relationships start to kill themselves, I think that would be, as I say, there'd be dead bodies lying everywhere in the street. So I don't find that a particularly, maybe it was a good television drama. But if you want to watch, talking of films, if you want to watch a really, really breathtakingly amazing film, I saw one this week on Netflix. So I have Netflix and I watch sometimes films. There's one called Octopus Teacher.
Octopus Teacher.
And this is a totally unique film, made by a very good film man who in South Africa would go out in the water near his home. He'd dive into the water near his home, not wearing a wetsuit, just with goggles. And he would dive down in a kelp forest. And after some days of doing this in the fairly cold water, he came across an octopus. And then he started to be fascinated by the life of this octopus. So over a whole year, he followed the life of this octopus. Okay. And they became friendly enough that the octopus would come and sit on his chest, for example. And in the end, the octopus dies. And along the way, you know, the all kind of exciting moments of the octopus's life. And it's a beautiful, beautiful the pictures are really beautiful, and it's a tremendously unusual film, I would say, very sensitive film. So if you want to watch a film, I suggest that one.
Yeah, it's better. Yeah. Yeah. I only want to ask you your opinion about that. Ending your life, yeah, by yourself.
Yeah, but I think actually many people do it anyway. You know, you can do it by various kinds of uppers and downer pills and drinking a lot of alcohol and so on. So probably many people are doing it.
Yeah.
And people who smoke a lot, they know that they're basically doing that. Maybe that's a slow death.
Yeah.
So there are many ways that people already are killing themselves, I would say.
In a slow way. Yeah.
Yeah. But as I say, the idea that everybody who's love lost starts to kill themselves, as I say, that would you'd have to have special departments going around cleaning up the bodies.
Yeah. Therefore, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So maybe somebody would like to share what happened when they looked inside. Kiran's always very observing. Would you like to share, Kiran?
So it got very warm immediately, my whole body. And yeah, like a flow of energy.
Right.
And then this energy is always a bit like strong, so it is kind of a mixture of nice and a bit uncomfortable because it's like taking over. And then I just leave it like that.
Right. So when this energy seems to be taking over, that makes you a bit vulnerable.
Yes, of course, yeah. And it's nothing I can really define. I can't say this is now a lot of anger or a lot of joy or a lot of. It's like you are in a river, in a small river, and this river is very strong and flowing over you, and you feel this water like coming over you and flowing from your toes to your head or your head to your toes, and so this is in a way a nice thing, yeah. But also it's going through in the middle of the body. Yes,
right.
and
well,
so
I mean, I would guess this is pretty natural, actually, what you're describing. You know, pretty natural. That's how our bodies are probably designed to function, even. And maybe by becoming quiet, you become very aware about that. And maybe in your daily life, you're not so aware of that energy moving through your body.
Yeah, and what I realized in the last time also that thoughts, they wash away, or they are a veil, of all these subtle observations and feelings and things. Yeah, so when thoughts are going to the background, all of a sudden I can hear better, I perceive, I see better, or I see other things, and I hear more things. I hear the wind, I hear the clock, and everything, and then the thoughts come and they are like a veil over that. Yeah.
Right. Well, you're describing, basically you're describing quite accurately how it is for nearly everybody.
Yeah.
And, often the veil is so thick because we're very attached to our idea of me and our drama and our movie. We're very busy watching this non-stop drama that, we don't always get sensitive enough to be, as you're saying, aware of the wind or some subtle sounds or something like this. Yeah. So, I mean, this is then when you're that clear about it, because what you've described is very clear, then this is a nice moment in your life, because actually then there's a tremendous natural encouragement to become quiet. Because when you become quiet and are not attached so much to the thoughts, then it's like something clears. It's like you're looking in the sky and the clouds become thinner, and then something blue kind of comes through the clouds. So, I mean, that's actually very nice what you're describing. And I would say that there's a tremendous sense recently. You're doing this construction work down at our Spanish house, yeah? And you send me some reports and photos and so on. And there's really a sense that, hard to say exactly, but there's really something very flowing with you at the moment. You clearly seem to have a good team together there, and probably you enjoying together what you're doing, and it seems to be working out nicely. So it's the beginning of a new project where we're planning to make this international community. And so that seems to be having a very good effect with you, actually. I can feel it in the mails you send me.
Yeah, it's big fun. It's just really fun, and the challenges are also the fun, because we are doing things we never done before. Yeah, it's just like, come on, let's build a house. Yeah,
Right.
And I only did it when I was small with Lego.
Right.
Yeah, and so I know a house has walls and rooms and a roof and windows, but if you have a real house,
Right,
then
right.
yeah, you can get crazy, or you get like do it step by step. Yeah,
Right.
and then if you don't know, you try to discover. And like we have a really good team, and we help each other and discover. And if we don't get any further, we call people.
Right.
Get advice from other people, and then we do it brick by brick and step by step, and not knowing really how will be the next or the step after the next step.
Yeah. Well, what you're describing is one of the great fruits of our community life, I would say, because there are many people in our community who have done similar projects which they didn't know how to do when they started.
Yeah.
So people who edit our films, they hadn't ever edited a film before. We've created about 30 books, designed them and had them printed. And when we started, nobody knew anything about making books. Now could say we're a little bit expert about that. So there's many things in our daily community life where people have tackled a step in themselves where they didn't really know, and they had to find out. And when you're faced with something like building this room, you're building this room on a balcony down there. It's not that complicated, but it's complicated enough that there's a few things that could be a little bit difficult, and you have to think about them. You have to get maybe sometimes advice, and step by step, it's coming together very nicely. And there's a flow, and you can even have fun with that. Because actually it's a lot of fun to kind of challenge yourself. Yeah. It's not really work anymore. It's more like you're playing and you're doing kind of useful play, which is much more fun than work, of course, because work has a sort of heavy conditioning to it somehow to go to work. But what you're doing is useful play, and going very well, I think. And it has an effect on you. I can feel this.
Yeah, and the team is really, really helpful, really good. We're a brilliant team.
Yeah. Well, this is, of course, one of the things that we're trying to create here in the community, that people can learn to work together. And you'll be pleased to know that in Trapelia, where they're still busy finishing off the 4 rooms and working a bit on the bathroom, that there's a big change in Ram too. You know,
Oh, great.
He's much more open and much more in a flow with Arjuna and Vijay.
That's
Vijay
great.
also seems to be pretty happy there.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let's leave this construction talk. Would somebody else like to share what happened when they looked inside? Maybe one of our visitors. We haven't seen you before. There's Christine. Would you like to share? You're in the Alps or somewhere nice.
Hi.
Hi. That's a photograph, or you're actually in the Alps?
Yeah, it's a photograph.
Okay.
I stayed in my holidays, so.
You took this picture before yourself?
Yes.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, in the summer holidays with my family.
Right. Okay. So I think we didn't meet before.
No, that's right. No. It's the first satsang for me with you.
Never satsang. Well, with me only. I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Are you the lady that lives in the north of Germany?
Yeah.
Right. Somebody said there was somebody in the north of Germany.
Yeah.
You got 2 or 3 kids.
2 kids and 2 dogs.
Okay. Big family.
Yeah.
Okay. So when you looked inside, would you like to describe what happened for you?
There is not a lot to tell. No. Perhaps it was calm. Perhaps that is the best word I can find.
Calm, right. But there were thoughts coming and going?
No, not a lot. No.
Okay. So you've done meditation before?
Yes.
You're used to meditating?
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Well, that's very nice, because the fact that you've got a benefit out of your meditation gives you a kind of support to go on further. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. I have done this Zazen meditation. Yeah, just sit
in a monastery or
Benedictiner Kloster. I don't know the word in English.
Yeah, a monastery, I guess. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. But you didn't really live there. You didn't shave your head or anything.
No, I stay there regularly, and yeah.
Okay.
These weeks in the year where I can just sit and be calm.
Right. And do they also do a walking meditation, or is it all sitting?
Yes. Yeah, we do that a lot, and I do that by my own with my dogs as well, and I work in a hospice, and I do that with other people together. So go together for a walk and meditate. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, very good. Very good. Yeah. Well, there's quite a few people today on the Zoom who have done a lot of meditation, and like this man I was just talking to, he's lived in our community for a few years. And as I was saying to him, he's become much quieter recently, I can say. And he's clearly having more fun than he was before, and he's enjoying the challenge. And all those things, in fact, come out of, in a way, becoming quiet. Because when we become quiet, it's like our consciousness opens up, and all kind of maybe unexpected things start happening.
Sometimes it's hard for me to stay in this mood all the day. It's I have the times when I really sit and be calm or be quiet, but when I have to go to work or meet me with friends, I can't stay in this.
Right.
And I would like to stay.
Yeah, but this can change, you know. I mean, the first thing is you say, "Oh, I would like." So when you have a clear priority, I would like, then basically it can happen. So I mean, when you're clear that you want that priority in your life, then, for example, you can maybe look at work a bit differently. You know, like I was saying to this man, that we have a lot of conditioning around work. You know, that at home is one thing and at work is another thing. But actually, we don't have to make such a distinction between home and work. You know, work is part of our life. It sounds like your work anyway is not so different from what happens at home, looking after children and dogs and so on. Now you're looking after maybe old people or people recovering from illness. So you can, as you say, you do, in fact, you go for walks with these people and meditate together. Maybe you sit with them also, some of them. Maybe some of your people are they also leaving their bodies? Are they dying as well? You're taking them through death, to death.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
But
Right.
it's not with all people. I do it with kids.
Yeah.
And it's in my free time. Yeah. And when I meditate, there is a feeling where I'm be happy and it's easy. And I can't hold this feeling, you know?
Yeah, but again, you
Coming and
see,
going.
yeah, but the problem is that we're all very, very conditioned by the society, by the family we grew up in, you know, by what people consider to be normal life. So, for example, if you meet your friends,
Yeah.
you're expected to talk. You know, you're not expected to be quiet. You're meant
Yeah.
to talk.
Yeah.
So, if you have friends who expect you to talk, if you want to keep those friends, then you have to talk. Otherwise, they'll find you strange. So there are all kinds of subtle pressures to be in a certain way, so sort of society way, if you like. And of course, if you really want to hold on to this calm space inside you, gradually you will have to decide that actually you maybe are going to change your friends, or maybe your friends will change themselves, you know, that you'll have to make a decision, you know, do I join in and become a party girl sometimes, or do I stay with my calm and then my friends find me a bit strange and not so interesting and they drift away, you know, something like this, you know, and maybe you get then new friends who meet you in your calm, you know. I mean, it's been many years for me that I've, in a way, avoided many, many people. You know, I have like a radar, and I avoid almost everybody actually because
I asked him, but he didn't. I mean,
what's happening? Okay. Anyway, I was just saying that, you know, I avoid many people who are very much caught up in the society because they can't help to talk a lot. You know, it's like a flow of words. You know, if they meet somebody, they immediately start talking. And actually, I can meet people maybe even deeper without talking. You know, and this has been, in a way, my path or my way for many, many years. That I discovered that you don't have to talk so much.
Yeah.
I was very lucky. I had a Japanese wife who was my private Zen master. And, you know, she didn't talk very much because her English wasn't very good. But she had this ability to know people, you know, to know the situation.
Yeah.
And actually, when you stay really quiet, then there are many situations which become, how can I say, that kind of open up. And when you're always talking and dialoguing and blah, blah, blahing, maybe there's not really the space for the consciousness to really open, and, you know, we miss many things. You know?
Yeah.
I had a big shock many, many years ago now, God, maybe nearly 50 years ago. I was sitting having breakfast in an ashram in India. And as I sat there by myself having breakfast, it seemed like suddenly the world was full of insects. They were buzzing and whatever, crawling around. It's like, wow, where did all these insects come from? And then I had to see that normally in my life, I'm far too busy, far too preoccupied and rushing along that I never really had any space for the insects. But after some meditation, I'd become quiet without maybe realizing how quiet I'd become. And suddenly I was like, the world was full of insects, which hadn't been there before, you know. Of course, they'd been there before, but I wasn't available for them, you could say. And you can have the same experience with bird sounds, you know. Yeah, all these kind of things start to happen around us when we become calm. You must notice that when you go for walks in the countryside.
But it's different to talk with my friends about these things. When I go outside for a walk and I feel very close to the trees and the air and everything, and
Yeah.
I have no we go together and I don't have to talk. I just like this moment. So perhaps, yeah, sometimes it's a decision. What's really important in life.
You go for walks with friends who like to be also quiet, you know, and maybe the friend who likes to never stop talking, you just quietly don't take them for walks, you know.
Yeah,
so you'll make some choices in your life, you know?
Yeah. It's a couple of weeks ago, I said to a friend of mine, please shut up. It's so wonderful. Please just stop talking. It was not very polite for me, but
well, yes, but I think it's perfectly okay, you know, and maybe next time you won't invite her even to come with you. In this way, your friends change, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it all depends on your inner priority, you see, because if you've had some very beautiful moments where something has happened inside you and you really touched the divine in you, those moments are so strong and maybe difficult really to talk about or to share with most people. That in a way gives you the fuel to make your decision that you're going to make a different priority in your life. Because actually you have to make this priority at some point, you see, because the reality in the society, maybe in your clinic or where hospital or whatever you're working, I mean, naturally there's a different kind of game going on, you know, and either you fit into the game or you make a different choice, you know. I remember one man who I met, he'd been working for many years in the executive in a big international company. And one day he met his mother and she was reading a book from Osho. And this touched him. He borrowed the book and this touched him a lot. And he started going to meditations at the Osho Center, but still wearing his black shoes and black suits and tie. And, you know, he was a regular kind of executive. But anyway, gradually the effect of all this changed his inner feelings, and he quit his job, and he spent part of the year in Osho's ashram, part of the year I think in a Sri Lankan ashram, and so on. But anyway, his life started to change, and then I met him because he visited my teacher. Oh, I've done something. Wait a minute. Okay, gone. He came to where I was with my teacher Punjaji or Papaji, and he had then a big opening. You know, something really powerful happened, and around that point, he got a job as a gardener. So he worked for 6 months of the year as a gardener in a big estate, and he had 6 months off to travel and do his spiritual work. And he lived very, very simply. So he made a choice, you know, he made a priority in his life. And I don't think that would have happened for him if he carried on working as an executive in a big international company.
Yeah.
And, you know, we're all free human beings and we can all choose how we want to live. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's not always easy when you have 2 children and 2 dogs and so on. You have certain responsibilities. And so maybe this movement or this change of lifestyle has to take time because circumstances mean that it can't all happen in one moment.
So I had a plan. I tried to organize my life in that way that when my kids are both 18, that is in 6 years, I can stop to work. And a couple of months ago, I realized that I can't wait any longer. It doesn't work.
Right.
I really can't.
But that's beautiful, you see, because that means you have a very strong connection with your own essence inside you. And this essence is strong enough now, you have a strong enough connection to it, that it's now guiding your life, and your life will almost certainly change. And, you know, I'm living, as you know, I'm living in a community of about 18 people. And we have another community with about 6 people in Ukraine. And we're developing now a new community in Spain. So, I mean, this is a lifestyle choice, yeah? So the people who live here with me, they've made some kind of choice at some point. And maybe you'll come and visit us or whatever. Maybe you won't, I don't know. But you can make this priority inside you, and then your own inner navigation system will take you to this priority, actually. And of course, you have responsibilities to your children and to dogs and all kinds of things. But they, you know, it can all be worked out, is what I'm saying. It can all be worked out, not necessarily by you, you know, it will be worked out by existence itself.
It was a decision I had made 15 years ago. I started my spiritual way very early in my life, and I got my first child and I stopped it. I stopped it very aware of it. And now I have the feeling just 6 years left. I can't break up at the end of the way. I should stay for my kids in this life with my job and the house, and on the other side, it's a feeling like it's really over.
Right.
Everything is going like a circle. There's nothing new. It's always the same relationships, the same talks, the same. I don't know what the word of Erfahrung. It's just nothing new.
Right. Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be something new, but nevertheless, if you're feeling that some kind of change is coming in your life, then it's coming. I mean, as I understand it, you are interested to come and visit us, for example.
Yeah.
So maybe when you come there, you're welcome to bring your children, of course.
Yeah.
Actually, many children enjoy our community. You know, we're very open to have children around, and in fact, I have 2 little girls in my life, so they are often around. We have a kind of zoo in the middle of our community of birds and little animals. We have a children's play place in the garden. So we're quite, and also many children, you know, they get very touched from being quiet. I've had some small children coming with their mothers to the community and telling me things like, you know, when I'm old enough, I'm coming to live here. You know? So bring your kids, you know, bring them, you know, maybe you'll be surprised.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so very nice to talk with you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there somebody else who would like to maybe share what they? Durga is there. You're in the South Pacific by the sound of it. Look at you.
No, it's just a picture.
It looks more like a video. There's a lot of wind and the waves are coming in.
Yeah, it's the Zoom background. You can do it.
Okay. Okay. But you're wearing rather a lot of clothes for that background.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. It doesn't really match.
Just to put your swimsuit on.
Yeah, next time.
Okay.
Yeah, actually,
So,
I'm sitting here in the office, in the video office.
oh yeah.
And I always like to come here to Open Sky House for the Zoom talks, because then I can feel the energy more, and I'm more calm than just at home. It's very different.
Right, right.
And yeah, then during the meditation, I also felt a lot of energy, and especially a lot of love, and this feeling of being protected and cozy, and so grateful for everything I have.
Okay. Right. Right.
Yeah, of course, there are always thoughts, but it can be there at the same time, this feeling of expansion and love. And even if there are thoughts, it's there, everything at the same time.
All right. Well, thoughts are not really a big issue if you don't take the thoughts. You know, the problem with thoughts is we get attached to them, and then we get into a whole drama or a whole story from the thoughts. But if the thoughts are coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, then they're not so much disturbing a basic peace we can feel. And probably over the last year or so, your ability to be calm with the thoughts coming and going and not disturbing your basic calm, I think that's changed a lot, probably. Is that right?
Yeah, I really think so. I mean, of course, in my everyday life, sometimes I still get caught up with, I don't know, things which annoy me, or I get stressed out from everything I have to do. But yeah, it's not really taking me so much, or it's not so hard anymore. I can still be, even if I'm kind of busy and doing a lot of things and I feel I'm a bit exhausted, but still I have this peace inside. So it's not like before that I think, oh, I can't stand it anymore, and I don't know, I have to change something. It's like everything which happens is okay, and I can welcome it. And I have a lot more power than I used to have.
Right, right, right. And so when you have a lot more power, you can also see the possibility that probably you can manage everything you have to do. It's just like, you know, you start with one thing and then it leads to the next thing and then it leads to the next thing. And at 3 o'clock, you have to pick up the kids and so on and so on. And then they're hungry and then you have to feed. So actually, you don't need to fall into stress so much. Mm-hmm. Because actually stress is something we create inside ourselves. You know, the mind has some idea. Okay, so the kids will be hungry. I must make them some wonderful food or something, you know. And then you realize, oh, I don't have the eggs or whatever. And then you get stressed about that. But, you know, there's a possibility when you see how you actually create your own stress that you can in the beginning do it, but gradually I think it becomes automatic. You can see that you don't really need to constantly stress yourself. And that in fact, when you don't stress yourself, you don't get so tired actually, and you have maybe more power. And in a way, from knowing you quite well now, I would say that, you know, you're distinctly different now than you were a year or year and a half or something like that ago. And
yeah, very much.
the less you're stressed, the easier everything gets, particularly with children. Yeah, they immediately can feel they have a chance if mummy's a bit stressed.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I must say I really enjoy these Corona times because everything is much more quiet. There's not so many places to go, and of course, my children's dad also doesn't have too many places to go, so he's also around a bit more, and that gives me a lot more freedom. So yeah.
Right. Okay. Wow, it's nice you come and spend more time here. You're doing a French translation, I think, yeah?
Mm-hmm. And I had my first massage, my first official massage yesterday.
Oh, wow. And how was that?
That's very nice, very beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, it's still, before I do something like this, there are a lot of thoughts in my mind and a lot of resistance, but I do it anyway, and then it all goes well, and afterwards I feel good. And even, I mean, in between, I also feel good. It's just before that these thoughts come and that I want to run away. But yeah.
So you can see how then you create stress on yourself, yeah? Because if you compare how it was yesterday with how it was, I don't know, a week ago, you see how in between you create stress about it, but when it actually happens, it's all fine.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how the mind is constantly putting us into stress, yeah. Because
but
we have so many ideas about how things should be or how they might be. You know, will I like the person I'm going to massage? I won't like him. But in the moment, it's not really even an issue. You know, you just do it and it becomes fine.
I see more and more that these thoughts are really just a habit, and when they come, it's like an old, not an old friend, but I mean an old something I know. So I can just say, "Hey, thoughts, there you are. I know you. You're always the same. So okay, you can be there, but doesn't mean I have to take you too serious."
Right. So this is a wonderful moment, yeah. When you have enough awareness that you see the thoughts, you remember how you used to take them and where that led you, and now you're making a decision not to take the thoughts, and then you see how that leads you, you know, and you can see the difference. And so then there's a movement in your life to let the thoughts come and the thoughts go and not really get caught up in them.
Yeah.
If you look on my blog, or maybe if you like to translate this particular blog, there's a poem, a famous poem from the third Chinese patriarch, and he basically there's two versions on my blog, just 2 verses, and the other one I think it's about 30 verses. So you can have the whole poem or just a little bit of it. But even with the little bit of it, he's saying how, you know, if you don't make a judgment for this or for that, and you accept things as they come, then already your life will transform amazingly. You can read it, maybe you translate it for us into French, and you'll see the value of that.
Yeah, I think I'm doing the proofreading. So Raj already translated the blog, and I'm doing the proofreading.
Okay, we'll look out for that one. It's from the third Zen patriarch.
I will.
Okay, go and enjoy Hawaii.
Thank you.
Okay. So we have a couple there who I think I haven't met before, maybe. Would you like to come into the dialogue?
Have you pressed on me?
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Hi. Hi.
One of you is you're Gabriella.
I'm Gabriella.
Right.
Peter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we didn't meet before, did we?
No. Gabriella sent me the invitation for the satsang, so I applied for it yesterday. So.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it was good.
Are you English?
Yes, yeah. I live in the English Lake District.
Oh, is that where you are now?
Yes, we're both, obviously, both in. Yes. We weren't
Right.
at the start because we had two separate devices, but there was too much interference. So, yeah.
Okay. Wow. It's a nice part of the world where you're living in, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 Beautiful.
So what a nice place to be locked down, yeah? You can go for beautiful walks.
Pretty amazing. Yes. Yeah.
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 Mm.
Okay. So when you were looking inside at the beginning of the meeting, was there anything interesting happening for you?
Just at the start, the rest of it was very, very calm, and I think you mentioned about letting go of thoughts,
Yeah.
and that seems to be happening more for me, rather than carrying them on and chewing them or whatever. But no, it was just when the name ayahuasca was mentioned,
Right.
that brought a reaction of a kind.
Oh yeah. Have you tried that?
Yes, 10 years ago I was with
in South America or
in the Peruvian Amazon jungle. Yes. So,
right.
okay,
Do you want to share something about that? I mean, I don't know too much about it actually. I haven't experienced it.
I knew nothing about it. I was going for the spiritual group who were visiting various sacred sites in Peru, and this was part of it. And I didn't know what it was, but I did find out. We were with a very famous shaman who, it felt very safe, but it wasn't an experience I enjoyed.
Right.
But it did take me into the jungle at night, which was probably not the wisest thing to do because it's it is a bit risky with jaguars and snakes and things like that. But it showed me the depth of connection with the jungle at night was sort of way beyond anything that ayahuasca could give me. But I respect that other people find it useful in certain ways. So it was interesting experience.
And you going into the jungle was a different experience to taking ayahuasca, or you took the ayahuasca and then went in the jungle?
No, I chose not to take it for a third time, and I mean I love nature, and I just got very drawn to going into the jungle, but it was a bit. It wasn't advised, shall we say, because the host had lost his best friend the year before to a jaguar.
Right.
So it was a very intense experience, So
right.
Yeah,
more intense than the ayahuasca journey.
Yeah, a lot more. I think there's a lot more adrenaline. I think, but yeah, it was beautiful in its own way. So.
Right. Well, you've chosen to live. You're living in the English jungle, kind of. I mean, the Lake District is probably the English version of going in the jungle. Yeah.
It's rather more manicured than.
Right.
The
not too many wild animals around.
No, not very many. No. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it's very nice to meet you. Yeah.
No,
did you say your name was Peter? Are you Peter?
Peter. Yeah.
Peter. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
And Gabrielle, would you like to share anything?
Yeah, I'd like to share that I'm finding this quite interesting, and
quite unusual in a sense. I've kind of followed Muji on and off for about 4 years.
Right,
And,
right.
yeah, listened to some of the video footage of Papaji and Ramana. And this feels, it's nice. It feels very informal and not what I expected at all.
Right, right.
But
it's always nice when it's not like we expect, yeah?
Yeah.
You may not know this, but I was together with the same teacher as Muji. You know, I was living 5 years with Punjaji.
Yes.
And actually, I met Muji when he was there in Lucknow.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we meet along the way.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
In fact, I've just published a book which is called Meetings with Remarkable People, where I've interviewed, I think it's 8 people, including Muji. If you can interested, you can get this book through my website. We have a on sale. You can download the book in as an electronic book.
Okay.
You can buy it from Amazon.
Yes.
But it has Muji's life story there. Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think I kind of felt, well, it was a curiosity really, just to see how your teachings were. So, yeah, and also I've had a sense for quite a while that I would like to be in community.
Right.
So when I saw your advertisement about the Spanish community setting up.
Oh, okay.
That just sparked again a little bit of curiosity and interest. So
you know what happened to curiosity, don't you? Killed the cat. You have to be careful, when you're getting so curious, because when things change, you find yourself doing steps like going into the jungle at night because probably Peter was curious,
Yes.
I wondered what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have interest about that community, we have a button where you can put your email address, and then we'll send you. I mean, basically, our situation is we've been living in Germany in a big house or mansion, 17th century old mansion, for the last, I think it's 14 years now.
Right.
And in 4 years, we have to shift because the house is sold. And so it just happened 5 years ago that we started renting a beautiful house in Spain, in a lovely little town. And so now the plan is to create an international community there, which is going to happen over the next 2 years.
Okay.
So, if you have interest, you could come to our community in Germany. It's not really Germany. I mean, I know Spain is a bit more attractive for the sun and the Mediterranean, but inside our community, you would get a taste of what we're creating in Spain, I think.
Sure. Yeah. That sounds interesting. I mean, I'm definitely at a crossroads in my life, and there's a sense that I need to go and spend a little bit of time with somebody in the Pyrenees, somebody who studies A Course in Miracles.
Right.
So I kind of feel like life is taking me there for a while. And it may not be for very long, I don't know. But it definitely feels like, I think, was it Christina who was talking about, well, the way I kind of heard it was coming more from this sense of, I'm kind of pointing to my heart. It almost feels like the heart is really wanting to move me.
Right.
And I've spent such a long time, even though I've been on my spiritual journey, I've still spent such a long time trying to keep safe, following my head, still listening to my mind. Right. And it feels like that has to finish, basically.
But it sounds like it's finishing. I mean, I can see you as a very heartful human being. You seem very open energetically. And of course, you're drawn to Muji, who's a very heartful person. And I don't know about the Course in Miracle person, but if you end up in the Pyrenees for some time, you might like to come and visit us, because we're probably a few hours from there down on the coast. And probably what's happening is that you've come to a point where your own essence, your own being is beginning to take over a bit, instead of just your mind taking you through your life. And maybe you tend to make then safe choices always, or predictable choices, something like that.
Yeah. And
maybe the effect of being involved with Muji over a few years is to open up another part of you more strongly, which is, in a way, another navigation. Instead of the mind deciding, there's another deeper part of us, even deeper than the heart. You can say your being is deciding.
Sure.
And things that you would have been okay with before now don't seem to don't really satisfy you. You feel, well, I have to let go a bit more. And then once you start to let go, then you find that your being will basically direct you. It doesn't happen in 5 minutes, but over some time will direct you.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely feels like that. And it really feels like I've got to the point where it's not that I'm having judgments about people in the world. It's just that I don't want to be pulled in that direction anymore. It feels like one forwards and 6 steps backwards or something, when I start to engage with people in a worldly environment, I just start to lose my deeper sense of being. And it just feels like such a slow process being in the world at the time.
Well, like I was talking with Christine, I was, pointing out that, you come to a point in your life where there's some kind of inner priority. It's like an inner switch happens.
Yeah.
And then, like she's not happy to go walking her dogs with a friend who talks a lot.
Yeah.
You maybe are not ready to do similar things in your life. You start to say, well, I prefer to be quiet than to talk all the time. I don't want to go to that party. I don't want to meet those people.
Yeah.
And so things start to move in a certain direction, and you start to feel inside you that this is actually more satisfying in a way. And then you're ready to go deeper into the whole thing.
Definitely. Yeah. I think so. It certainly feels like that now.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes it feels quite scary because, it really is letting go of all the stuff that I believed was keeping me safe, which of course isn't my true safety at all, but I've lived that way for a long time.
Yeah. And when it starts to change, it's not so easy, because it's a bit like a snake when it changes its skin. The snakes look for sort of a safe place to take off their skin, because when they take it off, the skin is then new and fresh, and maybe not quite ready for the normal tough things in life. So I mean, it's also a vulnerable time when life starts to change, when the ideas inside you kind of gave you a sense of foundation in your life. Like you lived in a certain mindset, which created a certain story about who you are. And when that starts to break down, actually it's not very easy. And probably you've had, both of you, some moments where you had strong experiences where something inside you opened up, and maybe it was very, very beautiful what opened up, and you had, for some moments or maybe some hours, maybe some days, you had a different sense of yourself. You had a very strong sense of beauty. And then, like I was saying to Christine, then there's a reason why you can make a priority. It looks like Peter's living in the Lake District, so maybe you made a choice to come and live somewhere like that, where you can have a calmer life in the middle of a big city, for example. Did you decide like that? Is your house you're sitting in, or?
It was the other way around. I moved to be with Gabriella.
Okay.
Because she wanted to be back in the Lake District. So,
okay.
So
right.
yeah.
But anyway, yeah.
I've always lived in quiet areas anyway. But
yeah.
So,
great. So you've also come together in a relationship because you have similar truths, you can say, inside, activating you.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But it's definitely time for change. And I think you're feeling that in your life as well, aren't you?
Yes, it's
settle down.
Yeah, the things that seemed important don't have the same importance anymore.
Right.
Yeah, it's like like the world seems to have faded a bit, and the inner world is getting brighter. If that makes any sense, it's
that's exactly how it happens, I think. Yeah.
But where that's taking me, obviously, I don't know. Whether we go together or not, that doesn't seem clear. So,
right.
Yeah. So there's some trust in that, I suppose.
Yeah. Great. Oh, very nice to meet you both. Nice to speak to English people. I'm an English man who hasn't lived in England for many, many years now. I've traveled the world and so on, and now I'm heading for Spain after many years in Germany. So it's nice sometimes to have this contact with English people.
Yeah, lovely. It's good to meet you as well, John.
Yes, thank you. That's great.
Okay, nice to meet you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Good girl. Just settle down.
Okay, who else have we got today? Okay, well, we got lots of. Somebody else like to share something? So, Swati, do I see that? We have Bhakti there. What, do you want to say something? Bhakti, you're sitting a bit far from your screen, I see. Are you okay?
Yes. I don't think especially now. I enjoy so much now. Peter and Gabriel talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wanted to meet them.
Well, you have to go to the Lake District, I think.
But anyway, this is like a third or fourth time of this Zoom meeting.
Yeah.
And the first time, it was really shockingly, it was different with daily life and now sitting in here. But now, I think, I was wondering, this is, I'm not so much meditated, or already I'm used to this space. I was wondering which one, but I don't know. But
but when you say, I mean, you are in fact meditating at home there, aren't you?
Yes.
Between the meetings, you've been meditating, I think. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I would say one of the things that maybe changes is that 4 meetings ago, you had quite a lot of ideas. Do you remember that? You had a lot of ideas about how spiritual things would be, and so on and so on and so on. You had sort of judgments about getting in your car and driving somewhere, and the virus might get you and you might break down. And a lot of fears and a lot of judgments maybe, which perhaps now you don't carry so much. maybe you're more in a calm space with yourself. Maybe you're deeper inside yourself. And maybe these Zoom meetings have had some effect in that way.
Yeah, I feel it. Yeah, when you say, yeah, I can recognize a bit. Yeah. Anyway, it's much more lighter in daily life as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if I worry, even if I was busy, but somehow I have the distance to I can see that somehow.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
It's interesting today. I've had several talks which seem to be with people who are in some kind of change moment where, for whatever reason, their normal life, their society life isn't satisfying them anymore, or there's a feeling of change. I mean, this can also maybe be fueled by the situation of the virus and the fact that people are staying more at home, more with themselves, getting in touch maybe deeper inside themselves, not being so busy with the society idea. So it may be that there are actually some benefits coming out of the situation of the virus. Yeah. Are you still going out to play to teach the piano?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
That was awesome. Somehow it's much more joyful.
Yeah.
In these few months. Yes.
Good. Good. Okay. Nice to talk to you.
Anyway, see you next week.
Next week you're coming. Oh, good. Good. Okay. Who else would like? And somebody else like to have much? We've got time for maybe another one or two people. There's Verona. Are you there, Verona? I think, was she in the house recently as a volunteer? Verona, she doesn't seem to be there. She's got a nice picture, but no Verona.
Verena?
Is she there?
Yeah, she's lying. I can only see one ear.
Ah, okay. Well, maybe we leave her. So I'm very familiar with everybody else. So would one of these people like to come on? Champa, would you like to have a dialogue?
Champa, du müsstest auf deinem Bildschirm kurz auf das Mikrofon da klicken oder auf Annehmen. Da müsste eine Meldung auf dem Bildschirm sein. Ist das? Auf dem Bildschirm müsste eine Meldung sein, da draufklicken. Ja.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I've been here now for 2 days in your house.
Ah, okay.
I've been doing translations.
Ah, very nice.
I mean, or some correction reading. The third patriarch, what you just mentioned before.
The Zen patriarch.
Yeah,
blog.
Zen patriarch. Yeah. Very, very interesting.
Right. Yeah. This is a very beautiful poem. It's a very famous poem.
Yes. It's very deep.
Yeah.
Very deep philosophy.
Right. Yeah. It's one of these classical spiritual texts that if you really can understand what's being spoken there, that's probably enough.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, I was only correction reading, but it went very deep.
Yeah. Good.
Yes,
Good.
actually, a lot of stuff was going on, but during the meditation, I felt very relaxed. Actually, there was a lot of stillness inside myself.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Good.
And now I wonder what it's like to go home.
Right. Well, it doesn't have to change that much.
No. But anyhow, it was nice to be back here and be in this atmosphere.
Right. Good. Yeah.
Thank you.
And thank you for helping us with the blog. Maybe as we're about to finish, I'd just do a little publicity about the blog, because I've got a completely new website, which probably most of you have already connected to. And when we finished it, somebody said, "Oh, you have to make a blog." I didn't really know what a blog was, but now I'm busily finding interesting things to put on my blog. So if you have time on the English blog, I think we have 30 different blogs. Some of them quite interesting, I think. And on the other languages, I think there's about 15 each language has about 15. So depending on your language. Yeah. But everybody today, you all speak very good English. So there are lots of blogs. And I'm very happy to respond. You'll find that at the bottom of each blog, there's a comments where you can write something. And if you like to write something and have a question or open up a dialogue with me, then I'm available to answer you. So I will answer any comments on the blogs. So I think we've had rather a good meeting today. I must say it's gone very quickly. And again, it seems now that this Zoom is really a gift, yeah? This is another gift from the virus, because before I broadcasted with cameras through the internet and so on, but this is much more relaxed. And personally, I find it very intense. You know, there's the possibility of really a deep meeting happening. And I think I've had that with several of you today. So, anyway, in 2 weeks, I'll be repeating this. So it's roughly every 2 weeks. If you speak Italian, I'll be doing an Italian one on Tuesday. And if you speak Russian, I'm doing a Russian one tomorrow. So it's a lot of fun for me. And we're planning at the end of December, on the 20th, I think it starts on the 19th or 20th of December. We're planning a 3-week retreat here in our house. And probably I shouldn't say this in public, but anyway, this is going to go ahead because we're a big family already. We're already 18 people in our family. And I think we can easily hide a few more, you know, in the cracks of the community. And so if you are interested to come and join us, then it's going to happen. And also we've come to understand that some people feel too much fear to really make that step. So in the evenings, I am offering another retreat. So there'll be 2 retreats. There'll be a physical retreat where we come together, and there'll be another Zoom retreat where each evening I will offer a meeting for one week, and then I'll have a break I think, and then I'll offer another week. So there'll be the chance whether you want to come physically here or whether you're happy to do it through the Zoom. We can spend some time together at Christmas and New Year. So we haven't yet advertised the Zoom part because it's only recently that it became clear that not everybody will take the step to come here for whatever reason. So we thought we'd offer both chances. So I'm going to be a hardworking boy over those 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah. Okay, so let's just sit together for a few moments, and then I'll say goodbye. Okay, so it's very beautiful to share such a deep silence. And it's quite amazing that we can share it so strongly through our computer screens. So anyway, thank you very much for a nice meeting. Perhaps see you again in 2 weeks' time.